everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be doing a big old unhaul. So I have a ton of books here. I have a giant box full. I've got some piles next to me. I just have a lot of books to get rid of. I decided to film this video on my floor for no particular reason except like it's easier to just have the box beside me, and I'm sitting on my new rug. Also, Charlie woke up, so I was trying to have a big filming day, but he has decided to rise and be crazy wild boy. Wow. Teething is in full swing. We're having great times. Are you gonna pick a book to get rid of? You just want to eat them all. I know, I get it. Destruction is your mission. So basically I'm just sitting on the floor, even though this is like a very colorless part of my bookshelf. Oh well, I have an armchair that's on its way, but it's not here yet, so the floor is where I shall stay. Okay, so the box is now empty. I have gone through and sorted everything into piles, so there will be a little bit more organization for you guys. So starting off, I have two books here that I have DNF'd. I'm surprised that there's only two, actually. I feel like there should be more. They might be at home. This won't be the only unhaul I'm doing. Once the weather gets nicer, I have some books in the garage at my parents' house that I need to go through, so then I will have another giant unhaul when I finally do that. But the two that I have that are DNFs are Frankly in Love by David Yoon, which just didn't click with me, unfortunately. I wish I could have liked it, but the writing style I just didn't care for too much. So this one will go to a new home. By the way, I can't send these books to you. I'm sorry, shipping would just get ridiculously expensive. So all of these books are going to the library that I put in at my old high school because they didn't have a library of their own. So I have a little library outside of my old English teacher's classroom. So that is where all these books will go. And the other DNF is Bridge of Clay by Markus Zusak. I just don't want to talk about it, okay? Like, I don't want to talk about this book. It makes me so sad. Next, I have a pile of books that I actually have read and did finish, but I just don't want to keep them for whatever reason. So next is The Wedding Date by Jasmine Gilroy. I didn't care for this. I think I gave it like 2 out of 5 stars, so that was a no for me. And then next is The Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. This we actually read for Bookmarked, and if you watched that live show, you know that none of us really liked this book too much, and it definitely would have been one that I would have DNF'd if I hadn't been reading it for the book club. The cover is beautiful though, so I was kind of hanging on to it because of that, but that's not really a good enough reason to keep a book. Similarly is I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. This was another bookmarked book club pick, and it's one that honestly, Wicked Fox and this one I thought I would love, but I did not. I loved Radio Silence by this author, but I did not like this book at all. It was so weird. So another one that I would have DNF'd. And I have one more bookmarked book here. So I know that seems like I didn't like any of the books that we read, but that's not true. I did like a lot of them. I don't know. A couple of them just weren't for me, but that's bound to happen. So Circe is the next book. I didn't hate this one. I just don't really have enough feelings for it to want to keep it. I have some pretty average feelings toward it. So I figure someone else will read it and will like it maybe a little bit more than I do, especially I know there are a lot of people out there who are interested in this book. Next, I have a couple of Christmassy books. So 25 Days Till December by Poppy Alexander. This just wasn't what I was expecting. I read it on my 24-hour Christmas readathon during Bookmas and just didn't like it. Same with Hidden Sea by Gregory Maguire. I believe I also read this on that readathon day. I can't remember if I read it on that day or if I read it another day. I don't know, but I think I read it that day. Wow, long-winded. This was just a really weird story, and I don't think it's one that I will ever reread. Next is actually another DNF. I forgot that I DNF'd this book, but that is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. So I started this, got not very far into it, and realized it just wasn't for me. It was my own fault. I didn't read the synopsis and didn't realize that it's kind of gross, and I have a very low gross tolerance, so that's my own fault. But I know that, once again, a lot of people are looking for this book, so I figure one of them will find it. And another Christmas book, The 12 Days of Dash and Lily by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. I just really enjoyed Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, but this one I didn't like. And this one I did for sure read on my 24-hour readathon day. I did have success on that readathon, but for the most part I didn't really like what I read. Next is Duels and Deception by Cindy Anstey. I honestly can't remember if I've actually read this one or not, which sounds very bad, but I don't think I did, but then I also think I may have. If I did, it was forgettable, and if I haven't, I'm not that interested in anymore. Next is Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. This is one that was very hyped up, and I gave into the hype, gave it a go, just wasn't for me. Next is Love and Other Train Wrecks by Leah Conan. This was okay. I have average feelings toward it, and that's kind of why I decided to let it go, let it go. I'm not gonna sing, but that's kind of what I do. Like, I go through my shelves, and if I'm needing space, I'm kind of like, how do I feel about this book? Is it one that I want to hang on to? And if I don't really have any sentimental feelings toward it or anything, then off to a new home it goes. Next is A Mad Wicked Folly by Sharon Biggs Waller. Same thing. It was okay, it was average, kind of middle of the road, so. And same thing with A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney. Next, I have a few duplicate copies here. So Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, and then The Cold Is in Her Bones by Peter Nell Van Arsdale. I picked up the finished hardcover copy, so I don't need the ARC anymore. And then P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. They actually sent this to me. It has the new Netflix movie cover. I actually still have to watch that movie. I should probably get to that, but I don't need 2 copies, and this is definitely a book that a lot of people are looking to read. And then Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I know you're like, Hailey, you have like 1,000,000 copies of this. 1, I have 95. 2, I already have this specific copy, so I don't need 2 copies of the same copy. I will get a different copy of the same book, but not 2 copies of the same book. Wait, what? I'm getting so confused. Basically, I don't need 2 of the exact same. You might be thinking, they're all the exact same, but they're not, okay? See, I'm reasonable. That's me being reasonable. I also have a pile of sequels here, but I'm going to be saving those for another video that I'm going to do talking about series I'm not going to be continuing with. So those I will talk about later. I am going to try and film that video after this one, but we shall see if Charlie complies, because he might have other ideas. I think he does, because he's doing bad things right now. Next, I have a few books that were sent to me unsolicited, which just means the publisher sent them to me and I hadn't asked for them, and it's very nice of them to do that. I'm not complaining at all, but sometimes they're just not books that I would be interested in, so I like to pass them on. So After the Fire by Will Hill. This is actually one that I kind of considered keeping because I was looking at the reviews and they seem to be pretty good, but I haven't gotten to it yet. I think it's about cults, actually. If you have read this book and you really liked it, try and convince me. You might be able to, although I am pretty hard to convince. Next is The Similars by Rebecca Hanover. I don't even know what this one is about at all, but yeah. And then the last one is Reverie by Ryan Messala. If you're wondering why I have my hand up like this, it's because I'm occupying the dog. But this, I think they sent me an ARC of as well, unsolicited, and I don't even know. I think that might be back at my house. Wow, that Unhaul is going to be very big. Fun times. This is actually another one though. If you've read it and enjoyed it, let me know and you might be able to convince me to keep it. Next, I have some ARCs that I just got from various places that I don't think I'm unfortunately going to get the chance to get to. So there's Dear Haiti, Love Elaine by Micah Mulit and Maritza Mulit. Any of these ARCs actually, if you have read them and enjoyed them, let me know. Once again, try and convince me, because I'm not like entirely married to getting rid of these, but this is the first one. Next is The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen, and I don't know, I don't remember what they're about is part of the reason, and then I just have so many other books that I've had for a really long time that I'd rather dedicate my time to. So Dear Sweet Pea by Julie Murphy. This is a middle grade, and I just haven't read middle grade in a while, and it just hasn't really been for me. So The Storm Crow by Kaylin Johnson. Address for the Wicked by Autumn Krause. This is one that the concept intrigued me, and I started it, and I don't quite remember why I didn't finish it, but definitely if you have read this and liked it, let me know. The Rest of the Story by Sarah Dessen. I'm actually going to give this to my sister because she had wanted to read it, so when she visits, I'm gonna pass it along to her. The Lady Rogue by Jen Bennett. Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. Charlie doesn't understand what I'm doing and why I'm not paying attention to him. And the final and biggest pile here is just books that I haven't read yet and changed my mind on. Actually, there's another DNF in here now that I think about it. The Beholder by Anna Bray. I got this finished copy in a subscription box, but I had started the arc and ended up DNFing it because it wasn't what I expected it to be. That's the problem with DNFs. I forget that I even gave them a chance. Charlie's just throwing a treat around right now, so he's being very helpful. Next is I Am the Messenger by Markus Zusak. Given that I didn't end up finishing Bridge of Clay, I've decided to not go for this one. I think I just want to leave it at The Book Thief and my love of that, and that will be my Markus Zusak fix. I don't know how to explain that. Yeah. Anyways. Next is Order of Darkness by Philippa Gregory. I kind of had mixed feelings on Philippa Gregory. I just exposed the fact that I'm wearing wiener dog pajama pants right now. But this is just a giant trilogy, and like, I think it's more than one book. This is, yes, it's volumes 1 to 3. So I'm not gonna read this like in this format, and I don't know if I'll ever read it, so yeah. Next is I Hope You Get This Message by Farah Nazrishi, and this was just sent to me in a subscription box. So it sounded kind of interesting, but I have to draw the line somewhere because I have too much to read. Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen. This is one that you could definitely convince me to keep. Actually, there's a few of these here. It's about goblins, and it intrigued me at first, but I kind of have lost interest in that. And Dress Codes for Small Towns by Courtney Stevens. This is a similar story, but you could definitely convince me if you liked it. Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. I bought this for a class actually way back when I was in university, like 3 years ago. It was in my 3rd year, I think. Was it in my 3rd year or 4th year? Maybe it was 4th year. I don't know. The point is, it was a long time ago, but I didn't really care for the excerpts that I read, and I don't think I want to hang on to it. Maybe though. Next is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I have both of these. I just don't need them. You Asked for Perfect by Laura Silverman. Kind of bought this one on a whim. The Mad Woman Upstairs by Catherine Lowell. This is about the last Bronte, and I just don't know if I want to read it. We Rule the Night by Claire Eliza Bartlett. It's one of those cases where all fantasies kind of start to blend together and sound the same, so I'm like meh. Juliet by Anne Fortier. I picked this up on a whim at a used book sale. I don't think I'm gonna read it. These Rebel Ways by Sarah Rosh. I really enjoyed her original trilogy, the Snow Like Ashes trilogy, but I don't know if I want to read this one. I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Maureen Gu. I just don't know if I want to read it. Like, that's kind of the case with all of these. The Game of Hope by Sandra Gulland. This is about Napoleon's daughter. Kind of heard mixed things, so meh. The Looking Glass House by Vanessa Tate. So this is actually written by, I think it's her great-granddaughter, but the great-granddaughter of Alice Little. I feel like I should read it as an Alice in Wonderland lover, but it's also the lowest rated book on my TBR. Maybe I should read it for that purpose. I don't know, like I kind of want to hang on to this for those reasons. We'll see. And finally is The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. I just don't think I'm gonna read a big chunky fantasy like this. So that's all for today's unhaul. Like I said, there will be another one coming for you guys soon once the weather gets a little bit nicer, which hopefully will be soon, and then I will be able to go out in the garage and not freeze my ass off while I go through those books. But there are so many boxes of books in the garage, so I don't even want to think about how many books that's going to be in that unhaul, but yikes. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!